from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I am here on this Friday, woohoo, Friday, October the 12th, 2018, with my next update video. First things first, I sound worse than I feel. I got hit with what I think was probably the flu bug on Monday. Sniffles and all that garbage and fevers, and it was the worst. And now I'm at the tail end of it, but I've still got this congestion, odd voice thing going on. So, but I sound worse than I feel. I feel pretty good today. The run-down feeling has finally gone away, so woohoo, that's good news. And that's really why I didn't film earlier this week rather than today. Regarding last week, well, I guess we'll do that real quick. So Friday the 29th of September, no, Saturday the 29th. Saturday the 29th of September, my husband hopped a plane to New Orleans for a work trip. And, okay, so a few years ago, he went to Las Vegas for a work trip. They have a big conference in Vegas, I think in February every year. And a few years ago, Danny got to go. And he told me that after we got married, that these sort of work trips, these conference trips to insert destination here, the wives get to go. I mean, you know, it's just kind of company policy. So when he told me that he was going to New Orleans, I was freaking out. I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go to New Orleans. We had talked about doing that for our honeymoon. We had talked about stopping in New Orleans on our drive down to Austin, Texas for the FlossTube retreat almost exactly a year ago. I have always wanted to go to New Orleans. And he goes, yeah, there are no spouses going on this trip. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was so excited because I thought I was going to get to go because we're married now. But no, nope, it was guys' trip. Guys' trip, yeah. And so the way that this works is that I have a bunch of haul because I got some, honey, I'm sorry I'm going to New Orleans without you, spend some money. I also got something pretty cool, but it's kind of funny. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So he picked this up for me, and it's really cool. He said that they didn't have any J's. They were all out of J, so he picked up an S for our last name. And he gets home, and he hands this to me, and it's really gorgeous, and it's heavy, and I've decided to use it as a scissor fob. And it's gorgeous. And I was like, really? You go to New Orleans, and all I get out of it is a keychain? He was like, yeah, but what else did you get? And I was like, well, okay, fair. So you guys are going to see that here in a little bit, what I got. But anyway, so I was planning on filming last Wednesday. His trip was Saturday morning through Thursday afternoon. They did something real silly. They flew to Atlanta and then drove from Atlanta to New Orleans. But I guess that's the way that it worked out. Anyway, irrelevant. I had intended on filming last Wednesday, but I was kind of under the advisement to just take these few days as a vacation, as a staycation kind of a thing, and just stitch to my heart's content. And up until that point, I hadn't done that. And so when I got up Wednesday morning, I was working on something, and I'll show you that here in a little bit, but I was going to try to finish it on Wednesday. And so I decided that if I'm not going to film, or if I'm going to try to finish that thing, I'm not going to film. So I just didn't film. And then Thursday I was exhausted, and then Friday, we were getting ready to leave down to Blacksburg for the Virginia Tech Notre Dame football game, which I know a lot of you watched, because there are a lot of Notre Dame fans in the world. And so yeah, anyway. And so that's why I didn't film last week, and so that's why we're here today on Friday. I wanted to put out something because we are like over a third of the way into October, which is sad, but that's the reality. So I thought that I better check in here because things are about to get a little bit crazier. So, in the interest of my vocal cords, so that you guys don't have to listen to this, but also in the interest of my energy levels, I am just going to show you what I've worked on, talk very briefly about plans, and haul. As such, I'm not going to do Q&A. I promised a couple of demos, and I have figured out what I want to do to celebrate 4,005 years. But I'm not going to do that today because I am not jazzed, and I would like to be jazzed for that. So we'll hold off on that until next week. So I'm going to do all of that stuff next week on the subject of Q&A. If you have any questions, by all means, leave them in the comments below. I will be happy to get to them next time. And I'm sorry for the holdup. Okay, so I think that that's everything that we need to talk about before I start showing things. So let's just jump right in with the works in progress. Okay, I have everything here in mostly chronological order, so we're going to start from the top. And the last I saw you, I was working on In This Moment by Jeremiah Kettner, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So here is what that will look like finished in about 10 years. McKenna, hopefully our deal holds for 10 years. So there's that. And I'm not going to do befores previews anymore. I'm just going to switch completely over to my before and after pictures because I like that. And this is on a 25 count Lugana in Cream by Zweigart. And I was working on page 15, which is my 6th page of the design. And as expected, I finished it that Friday. Oh yeah, I braided my braids together just to keep things tidy-ish. So there we have it. There is page 15. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love the colors. Absolutely love the colors. I love how this design is coming together, and since I haven't looked at it for about 2 weeks, some separation was good, and I want to work on it again, of course. But I adore this. Okay, so something that I discovered while I was finishing up this page. We have swan wing here. About a year ago, this time, almost to the day, I was working on page 7 of Faces of Fairy 201. And page 7 was actually my page 6, just like this, because I was doing the diagonal pages business. It was the bottom row of pages, and in page 7 of Faces of Fairy 201 was the swan, the little black swan. And so apparently I just have a thing for swans in this corner of a design. I don't know what that is, but I just thought that was pretty funny, that the swan would just happen to land in the same general vicinity on 2 separate pieces that I became obsessed with at about this time of year. I always wonder, like, what causes my obsession with these? And I don't know. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I get a little manic. I get really obsessed. Maybe unhealthily so. Anyway, so there is that. And a long way to go here. So one thing that I'm going to kind of talk to you about here is some 2019 plans. And I'm just going to work that in now. So I had talked about the fact that I wanted to maybe do just the top row of page 4 here in preparation for 2019. And what I have decided is that I don't think I'm going to do that here in 2018. So I was watching a video from Sarah Stitch and Mommy. And this was several weeks ago. And Sarah mentioned this idea about no new starts 2019. And at first I was like, no. No thank you. First of all, there's the New Year, New Start, and there's the birthday start, and there's this, that, and the other thing. And then I'm looking at first my goals for 2018 and where I'm at. And then I'm looking at the number of whips that I have versus the number of whips that I really want. And then I'm looking at the whips that I have and just how in love with them I am, but some of them have no more than a day's worth of effort. So I started toying with this idea. I legitimately started toying with the idea of no new starts 2019. And I took it so far as to talk to my husband about it, to see what he thought. And he said, you'll never do that. You'll never be able to do it. And I was like, well, thanks for the vote of confidence there, buddy. And he was like, it's not meant to be like that. It's just that it's gonna put too many restraints on you, and so you're gonna want to just start all of the things instead. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe he's right. So I've been thinking about this idea. And so then I was like, all right, well, maybe I could try it. Maybe I could try no new starts for 3 months. This year, I had my New Year New Start, which was Hortus Venenum Poison Garden by Chatelaine. And then I didn't start anything else until mid-March. So I made it effectively 2.5 months without any new starts. It's pretty great. And not only that, but I felt really good about it. Like, I was like really proud of myself. Like, I haven't started anything in February. I haven't started anything in the first half of March. Like, I was feeling really good. So 3 months I could really do. I could easily do. I've done it. But then I was like, oh gosh, New Year, New Start. Well, maybe I could have my New Year, New Start on the 31st, just after like the New Year in Australia. And then it won't count because I'm in the East Coast United States. And so then I was like, this is silly. I'm just trying to find a way to start something new before not starting things, and it's going to set me up for failure because new starts it's just a lot of fun, right? So I was thinking 3 months I could do easy. If I'm going to make this a challenge, why don't I kick it out to 6 months? 6 months, no new starts. So no new starts January through June. This is, it's really attractive to me. I want to finish some stuff. I started the year with 68 whips. I now have 66. Totally not what the goal was. 2 years ago, I set the goal that I wanted to be under 50 by the end of 2018. That's never going to happen. So I think that I'm going to go no new starts between January and June next year. And what I have decided is that I am still going to have a New Year, New Start, but it's just going to be page 4. Page 4 is going to be my New Year, New Start. It's just the way I'm gonna do things. It's a new page. It's a new diagonal of pages. Of the heids that I have stitched, I've never had a page 4 in the vertical, or in the horizontal, excuse me, on the top row. So that's a new thing. It will be my 7th page. I'm excited. So this is going to be my New Year, New Start. And I'm good with it. I'm good with it. So there's that. Now, have I feathered into this page? I sure have, but I haven't technically started this page yet. So anyway, that's my little brief spiel about 2019, some kind of ideas that I have. The question remains if I am going to feel the need to start a bunch of things here before the end of this year so that they are ready to go for next year if the feeling rises up. And there's only a couple of things that I think that I would maybe want to do that for. Let me think. There is Touching the Autumn Sky. I would really like to finish up next year, so that I can get that back to my beautiful friend who lent it to me, or to get it to another stitcher who wants to stitch it. What else did I want to get started? At least one other or two more in the Songbirds Garden series from Cottage Garden Samplings. Maybe Maidens of the Season, maybe. So I have to toy with that to see if I'm gonna have like a start-a-thon before the end of the year, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, that's In This Moment by Jeremiah Kettner. Okay, so I finished that up on Friday the 28th. So there were still 2 days left of September, and I contemplated a whole bunch of different things. At the end of the day, I decided to go with Lady of the Flag because I love Lady of the Flag. So this is Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia, and when I pulled this out, I was like, all right, I'm just going to work on this for a couple days, and then I'm going to put it down and get into my Dark October. And what ended up happening was I contemplated throwing out my October plans and working on this until finished. Because Danny was gone, and so I was going to have like 6 days of unadulterated stitching time. So I contemplated it because I'm that close. I'm that close to the bottom here. So we'll just span up. So let me see, I worked on this for 3 days. It ended up obviously not going for the whole month. So I worked on it for 3 days. And the third day was Monday, October the 1st. And so I finished up my September goal. That's what happened. I finished up my September goal on the 1st. And so I thought, well, that's a pretty decent stopping point for now. It is in my Dark October plans for the month. I am still planning on working on this again here in October if it comes up. So that was a pretty decent stopping point. And while I contemplated working on this until finished, and that would feel really good, and it would probably be done by here today. Maybe not. Anyway, I was really excited about Dark October stitching. Like I was ready to do some Halloween stitching. So I ultimately decided to put this down after reaching that goal. And I have decided that November 1st, I'm going to start Give Thanks by The Drawn Thread. And I didn't bring that because we're not talking about November, not really yet. And then after I start Give Thanks, I'm going to work on this until done. I think that it would be really great to be able to finish it before Veterans Day, but I don't know if that's going to happen. There is a tech football game the first weekend in November. And so, I mean, we'll see what happens here in October if this comes out again. I had already talked to you guys about how I was making this fit my October plans. So, if it comes out, that'll be great, and that will help me get it finished in November. If I don't get it done by Veterans Day, that's okay. It's just I thought that would be a good day to finish it. Plus, we have a DC area Metro Stitchers meetup that day, so that would be a really good day to finish this. But we'll see what happens. So there's Lady of the Flag. Okay, now we're gonna get into Dark October. For real, like legit Dark October. So here's what I decided. Because when we last talked, I wasn't sure how I was going to format things, where I was going to work in the new starts, how long I was going to work on each project, in my WIP pile, etc. So ultimately, I decided that I put all of my Dark October WIPs into a wheel on Tiny Decisions, and I set each of them a goal. So Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, I would like to finish Block 1. Spooky Countdown by the Primitive Hair, I wanted to do 3 blocks. Witches of Salem, Primitive Hair, I want to get the top half of the figure at the gallows done, down to that point. So I set roughly 2 to 3 day goals for each of these projects. And I like 3. So I decided that I was going to work on 3 Dark October WIPs, and then I would get to do a Dark October start. So, and then if I completed the goal on the Dark October work in progress, then I would remove it from the wheel so that I don't get any duplicates unless I don't reach the goal. Okay, so I need to get 3 of those done, 3 WIPs to their goal line, and then I will get a new start. Okay, so the very first project that I pulled was Victorian's House number 9. And this is by Judith M. Kirby. This is an original print with a glossy photo and everything. And I love this piece. I absolutely love this design. And so I pulled it out the goal for this piece was a finish. I knew I only had 2 to 3 days left to get it done. This is the reason that I didn't film last Wednesday, because not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, because this is what I was trying to finish on Wednesday. I ended up not getting it done. There was a little bit more backstitch than I bargained for, and so I finished it up early Thursday morning. So here we are. So it took a total of 6 days? Nope, 7. 7 days. And here it is, and I am super in love with it. This is on a 28 count cashel linen in Confederate Gray by Zweigart. I used all of the called for colors except for the black. I chose Anchor Black just because I like a good inky black coverage. The back stitch in this is involved. It is also a hand-drawn chart, and because it was circa 1989, so this project is potentially older than my brother, who was born in 89. Here's the thing about 1989. The colors have changed quite a bit since then. So this dark green here is 936, and I use 936, and you can see that mine is significantly lighter. And if I had known that, I might have gone 934. I would wager that 934 is the equivalent of 1989's 936. So if I had known that, I probably would have chosen the darker shade. But I'm not mad at it. Like, I love the way that it looks. I love that this piece is equal parts obviously Halloween and equal parts not Halloween. Like, yeah, we have a black cat and a jack-o'-lantern, but it's not like, this isn't necessarily a haunted house. It's just a house. It's just a Victorian. I love it. I absolutely love it. The other change that I made is I rounded out the moon a little bit. I just added an extra row of stitches there because it looked a little strange. It looked a little strange. I was stitching on the moon, specifically, I'll remember this for a while. I was stitching on the moon while watching Rita Marie. She was doing a live stitch with me, and she was working on her Tiny Modernist Blood Moon. And I, like, for about 12 seconds, considered ripping out what I had done on the moon and instead charting a blood moon. But this moon is really simplistic. And I think that a blood moon next to that orangey red, like 919, 920 range of the oranges there in the house, I think that it probably would have clashed and it wouldn't look right. But I contemplated it because that blood moon is so cool. I also really like the spider web. Love the spider web. I think that came together so well. I am so smitten with this, and it's so little. Oh, I didn't even mention the part that bugged me. The fence. The fence is so effective, and it looks so good. And, like, the colors that Judith M. Kirby chose, like, it stands out. It stands out. But stitching that, I think I said if I never have to stitch another fence again, it will be too soon. So there is that. And this chart is spoken for. I'm going to get this in the mail to the person who knows that they are getting it. I hadn't sent it yet, partly because I wanted to show it here and partly because I was sick and I didn't want to touch anything that I was sending to somebody else's house while I was sick. So anyway, so I'm going to get that in the mail here. So that was finish number 11 for 2018. And I need to get this fully finished. I'm going to try to get it fully finished for this Halloween. That took me up through Thursday morning. I ended up not stitching anymore on Thursday because Danny came home and so, you know, just getting back into the swing of things. We had 1,000,001 shows to catch up on. So I didn't stitch anymore on Thursday. So I spun the wheel again. And this is one that I hadn't shown you guys that I was including because I kind of forgot about it. There's actually a couple of those. Christine at Stitch All the Things reminded me to put in Poison Garden, Shadow Lane, Poison Garden. That's pretty spooky. And then this one, this is the C3PO Sugar Skull by Stitchline. So preview here of what this will look like finished. I have already finished Darth Vader. This was a Mania 2017 start, and I hadn't worked on it since then. So this was pretty good to get out and work on for what ended up being a few more days than I intended. So I worked on this Friday morning for a very short period of time, and then things and stuff. I had to take Thor up to my mom's animal hospital so that before our trip to Blacksburg. So I stitched on it very little Friday morning and then very little Sunday after we got back. Monday I stitched for a good little bit before I fully realized how sick I was. And so yeah. Anyway, so my goal for this piece originally was page 1. and page 1 comes down a little bit more here, and the cross here is, or excuse me, this little bit here is the edge of page 1 there. But I decided to stop at a quarter. So this is 25% of the design complete, with the exception of this little bit here. With the way that I like to stitch, I can't do that until I come up over here and do this part. So that will have to happen later. But by and large, this is 25% complete. And so this is the halfway line in the vertical. So yeah, I'm pleased. It was fits and starts. It should not have taken 3 days to do all that, but it did, and it's all right. The fabric is 32 count vintage Stormy Clouds by Zweigart. It's one of those printed fabrics again. So you can kind of see some gray modeling, and it's plain on the back. I am stitching this entire series on this fabric using DMC 37.99, and I dig it. I'm a big fan. So there was another one off the list. Took it off the wheel. Time to draw again. I'm getting all twisted around. What happened? Oh, okay. Okay. That's what it is. So before I show you the next whip that I pulled, on October the 1st, to kick off the festivities, I had a new start. And Danny was in New Orleans, so I sat down and watched Hocus Pocus. He doesn't care for Hocus Pocus, whatever. I sat down to watch Hocus Pocus. Freeform is doing a 31 Nights of Halloween this year, and they started off with Hocus Pocus. So I sat down to watch Hocus Pocus while I started Hocus Pocus. So this is being stored in my Momily bag with the calaveras. And so Hocus Pocus by the Prairie Schooler, which I purchased from Emily C's D-Stash. Needle minder here is Wednesday Addams. I am smiling. I talked to you guys about the fact that I was starting this because on Wednesdays we stitch black. And so this was going to be my piece for that. I'm replacing all of the 3371 in this with Anchor Black. And so on Wednesdays I am working on the black. And on Wednesdays, you get it? Okay. So this is on 32 count cream Belfast linen from Zweigart, and I've worked on this 2 days now. So I started it on the 1st. Wednesday I only worked on Victorian's house, but I did some work in black, so I counted it for that. And then here a couple days ago I pulled this out for a little bit. And so that's where we are. And I'm just loving it. Loving that little owl. So cute. And this is kind of a small piece. It's not super huge. So I was able to cut the fabric and get it going. And now I have another little piece of cream Belfast for something else. I did decide that I am going to sub out this center block for this one here with the half bat and half owl. And it says spooky in the center. Because we have a big owl here, and we have a big bird here, but we don't have any bats, and I need a bat. I need a bat in this design, so I'm going to put a bat, this half bat piece in there. I contemplated stitching it upside down because we've got an owl here, but it just kind of makes sense for the bat to be hanging upside down. So that's what I'm going to do. And so there's that. And I adore this so very much. And I thoroughly enjoy getting into this bag because this inside fabric, oh my gosh, Oh, I love that. So there is that. Okay, so that's what happened. So Monday morning, I finished up on C3PO. And then Tuesday, I did not stitch. I was too sick. I was feeling like garbage, so I didn't stitch on Tuesday. Wednesday, I got up and I was feeling a little bit better, so I decided to do some stitching. I started with Hocus Pocus because it was Wednesday. We stitch black on Wednesdays, and so I did that. I worked on that for. I think I've decided that I'm going to put in a length of black each Wednesday before I move on to whatever else I'm working on that day. So I finished out the length that I had started on the first. Then I spun Tiny Decisions for my final whip before a new start, and this time it pulled Spooky Countdown by the Primitive Hare. Preview here of what this will look like finished. I am stitching this on 32 count Belfast in Gingerbread from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. This fabric is going to turn me blue. That's fine. So I'll just go ahead and pan up here so that you guys can see what I did. So I think I mentioned this one earlier. My goal for this piece was 3 blocks, and it took me about a day and a half total to do these 3 blocks. And I just love them. I love them. So I'm not really using the called for colors. That green is Threadwork Spanish Olives. The dark gray is the called for DMC. I'm using Anchor Black because that's what I do. This orange is, it's under the header of Crescent Colors, but Classic Colorworks Copper Penny. The light gray is one of my favorite colors ever. It's Classic Colorworks Lunar Eclipse. The purple is Witch's Socks from Color and Cotton. And I think that's all I've got here in these 3 blocks that I used. And I just love this. So this was the thing that I started mid-March. And the goal was to work on a block a week, just one little itty bitty block per week, to have it finished in time for Halloween. And the last time that I worked on this was April 30th. And then May started and I did Monogamous, and I just never went back to it. So let's see. I think this was the May 20th block. Yep. So I'm quite a bit behind. I'm never going to catch up. I'm never going to finish this in time for this Halloween. Maybe I can try to swing this and try to do this block a week thing next year to have this ready for next Halloween. Some people in the Sal have started posting their finishes, and it's so much fun to see how people are fully finishing these. Somebody did like an advent calendar. It's really kind of what this is supposed to be, kind of an advent. And she made them all into separate little pillows. Oh, you can see my back there. It's just all very cool stuff that people are doing with that. So it was good to work on that again, but I was so excited to finish that goal up so that I could get to my first like legit Dark October new start. I was watching Olivia B's vlog, and she's starting something new every day, and I'm like, oh, I want to start these things. My new starts wheel is more full than my whip wheel. So like there are so many things that I'm super excited to start, and so I was just really ready to get going. So yesterday morning, after I finished up Spooky Countdown, I hit the wheel and I put nothing out in the universe for what I wanted because I didn't know really what I wanted. And it pulled Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. And I was excited but apprehensive, because the last time that I tried to start this piece has gone through several false starts. So I was a little apprehensive about it. However, I ordered the threads that I needed for the house. I was able to find here they are, wood smoke and maple syrup, so that I can do the house. Is everybody else's wood smoke this variegated? This thread is insane. So I ordered those too, so that I can get the house because that was the part that stumped me back in September. And so I finally got those threads, and so here's my whole palette. And I'm digging these colors, and all of the names of these threads make me hungry. Espresso bean, black walnut, wildwood, faded rose, fragrant cloves, fudge ripple, wood smoke, maple syrup, flax and razzleberry, and hickory sticks. Like, all of those they just scream comfort and fall, and yeah, I'm excited. So I got started yesterday, and again, I was apprehensive. So let me just show you where I got to. It's still on my frame because I'm still working on it here today. Oh, and also what the design will look like finished with my oldest needle minder. This is Blackbird Designs Away We Ride. Away we ride till it's dark as pitch to find the home of the wicked witch. And there is my start. Oh, I love this. This is on 32 Count Belfast in Sassenach by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And I'm going to take the chart off so that you guys can kind of get a better sense of what this looks like. Yeah, there we go. I'm obsessed with this fabric, you guys. It's so wonderful. It's so good. So that's where I got to after about a day and a half. Not even really. Stitched for about an hour and a half last night, and about an hour and a half, 2 hours this morning. So just a few hours effort in so far, and I'm in love. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. I have always, this is like confessions time, I have always been intimidated by these more primitive style designs, samplers, reproductions, and then designs like these with these elaborate borders. Because I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know how to, because I'm using hand-dyed threads, and I wanted some of the variegation to show through when it can. So I didn't know how on earth to tackle a border like this. I've never done really anything like this before. And so I contemplated, like, asking everybody who does these, like, okay, so how do I stitch this? Like, because we've got, like, offshoots and things, and just how do I stitch it? I wasn't sure. And so I contemplated asking friends and other stitchers, like, how do I do this? I contemplated converting the border to DMC, so that I didn't even have to think about it. And ultimately what I decided to do was sit down and start stitching, and I figured it out. And it just happened. Like, there wasn't any big pomp and circumstance about it. It just happened. It just worked. So you can kind of see what I did, and maybe I'm not the only one who feels like this about this style of design. What I did is I started with the bare bones, the skeleton of this. So these floral bits here, I added in after the fact. So I started with that, it looks like a vine. I started with the vine. And I ended up adding in these leaves as I went. And I'll show you the back because it's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. So I'm pleasantly surprised with how it's coming together. I will tell you guys that the colors that I'm using for the border are not the called for. I am using Hick Sticks and Espresso Bean. So mine's going to look a little bit more brown. Everybody else's is looking a little bit more gray. Mine's going to have more of a brown tone. That's fine. Hick Sticks is not a highly variegated color. There's some tonal areas where it looks like the dye didn't take all the way. But by and large, it's not super variegated. So I am not doing 1x at a time for the larger sections because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And if you're going to see any tonality, you'll see it regardless of how I stitch it that way. So that is part of the reason that this is working out well for me. If I was to be using, so this little pumpkin patch looking thing here at the bottom underneath the house, I chose Fudge Ripple. That's a pretty highly variegated color. There's a lot of things going on in that thread. So that I'm going to have to be a little bit more cognizant of. But with this border, it's just working out. It's working out nice. So, and I feel the same way about Espresso Bean. Espresso Bean's pretty solid. So, anyway, I'm just excited. I'm just geeked to have finally gotten this started. My original plan was to start this at FlossTube Retreat, New Jersey back in May. We all know how that went. First of all, I didn't buy anything, and then I didn't start anything the whole month. So, and then I tried to start it here in September, and it just flopped because of my threads. But finally have it started, and I'm so excited. So there's that. So here's what I've decided with my Dark October new starts. When I have started it, I'm going to give it 2 days. So yesterday and today will be my 2 days with A Wavy Ride. Then it's going to go into the whip wheel. And I'm going to start weighting the different projects in that whip wheel so that my older whips have a likelier chance of coming up. Because this is now a Dark October whip, and so if it comes back out again, I'll feel pretty good about it. So if this comes back out again, what I'd like to do by the end of today is to finish up this first section. This border is really cool. It's 2 colors that alternate, and you can't really tell that looking at this. But it's 2 colors that kind of alternate. So the bare bones of this section are in Hick Sticks. The bare bones of this section are in Espresso Bean. Or, well, mine will be. So my goal for today is to finish up this section that I have started already. So I have just a little bit more of this flower bit in Hick Sticks, and then I've got to add in the Espresso Bean. And then I would like to work the inner border across the top. And then if this comes out again as a whip, then my goal before I take it off the whip wheel will be to do another section of border. And so we'll try to tackle this border. I have a feeling that I'll get bored of doing the border, not gonna lie. I'm gonna want to get to some of the fun stuff, but tackling it little bits at a time. So anyway, there's A Wavy Ride. the way that I had planned this out was that I'm going to do 3 whips and then a new start. Except tomorrow is October 13th. And it's October, so there's dark October stitching, and tomorrow is dark 13 stitching, so I'm going to have another new start tomorrow because I want to. And so I am going to run the Tiny Decisions here on camera with you guys, but I'm going to do that after haul because there are some things that I have received that I have added into the new starts wheel. And so I would like to show you what those are before I do that draw. Okay, so there's that. And I feel like I'm trying to make up for the couple of days that I didn't stitch either much or at all. So let's complicate things further. I'm going to put a Haid on my Q-snap and try to slow play it. Heaven and Earth Designs is running a challenge through the end of the year, which is to put in 2018 stitches into your Haids, whichever one you choose. And I put in all 7 of mine. So In This Moment is done by a lot. And so I need to get going on the other 6. This is my only Heaven and Earth design that is even remotely, I don't even know that I would call it spooky, but it's moody and it's purple and black. And I have a gorgeous, elegant purple pumpkin minder. It's kind of morose. It's kind of emotional, and those are kind of my favorite things about October. So I'm gonna make the stretch to work on this and try to get 2018 stitches done on it before the end of the month. Plus, with it being a stitch-a-thon weekend, I would like to get some good stitches in. So this is on a 25 count antique white Lugano from Zeiger. So I finished up page 1 early last year, and so I would really like to get this pulled back out again. And so I am going to work on page 2. And it starts off with a lot of black, so those 2,000 stitches could go pretty quick. And so I am looking forward to working on this a little bit more. So there's that. I'm not gonna put any like strong goals on it. I'm not gonna like do 400 stitches a day or anything crazy like that. I'm just gonna work on it through the rest of the month and hope I get those 2,000 stitches done. So that is it for the whips and the plans, except for that Tiny Decision spin that I am going to do after I'm done showing haul. Speaking of haul, let's get into it. I have just a lot here. I have a lot here, but it's all fun stuff. So the first are a couple of things that I got. These are auto ships from Trish at 3L Threads. This is the final installment of the Farmhouse Christmas series from Little House Needleworks. And I love it. This one is super cute. I love that we've started with a little red barn and we're finishing with a big red barn. So there's that. This, I can't look at it for too long because I want to start it immediately. Songbird's Garden, Promise of Spring. Those tulips. This is the American Robin and tulips, and I'm just smitten with this piece. It's so gorgeous. Okay, stop looking at it. It's beautiful. Next is something that I ordered a few weeks ago, and it has arrived in the interim. I was watching Crafty Creative Claire and her sort of return post-summer, and she started talking about Teresa Wensler, which reminded me that Teresa Wensler dragon patterns are no longer available on Patterns Online, which stressed me out more than I would like to admit. And so I started looking at Teresa Wensler dragon patterns and seeing if there were any that really stood out to me. Like, I need that. I'm gonna have to find that. I'm gonna have to get a hold of it. And this was the only one. And I could not find it for less than $45 for this one little design. What's the size of this baby? Stitch count, it's not showing me here on anywhere on the back here, but on 28 count, it's 13 by 11, so it's really not very big. Really not very big. And so I was stressed out that I couldn't find it for less than $45, and then I found it very reasonably on Etsy. They only had one copy. I'm not sure if it was a D-stash or what. My inclination is that it probably is a D-stash. That is Castles by the Sea. As somebody who doesn't care for the beach, I sure have this just affinity for them. First Seaside Kingdom, and now Castles by the Sea. But I love this. I love it a lot. So this is potentially, I talked about my trifecta and how I wanted to do another one, and this could be my Teresa Wensler for that. So, love that. Next, I felt the need, I'm shaking my head at this. I felt the need to look back at my Etsy purchases and to sort of check out the shops that I have purchased from in the past and see if there was anything that I wanted. Why? I don't know, but I did. And what I found was that Kathy Barrick put a few other things up on out of print and clearance on her Etsy page. And one of them is Painted Wings. This is out of print now. And it is available from her Etsy page, at least it was 2 weeks ago. I can't believe that this one is out of print. I can't believe that this one is not loved on enough to keep it in print, but nonetheless. So at FlossTube Retreat, New Jersey, we had a bit of a raffle, and I took all of my tickets and I put most of them in the project bag from Ingeborg and the rest of them for this, and I won neither. So seeing this available, yep, it had to happen. And I restrained myself and only ordered one pattern. I know that I was tempting fate with that, but there you have it. Okay, the next few were, I claimed these about a month ago, and then I was that horrible person who forgot to pay for them until it was almost too late. This was from the McKenna's Attic Needlework Last Chance, and when I ordered these, I was feeling kind of down and out about myself, so some retail therapy is what happened. So this first one was actually one of the cases where somebody claimed it and then never paid for it, and so I got it second chance. Like last chance. This is Pineberry Lane's Merry Halloween. And this is one of the pieces that is going into my potential starts. It's just a cute little thing. She says to stitch it with Weeks Dye Works or your favorite black floss. I could do that. So there's that. I love that. And then these two, when I placed my name down for these two, Olivia and I found out that we are now best friends. The first is Autumn 1831 by Samplers Not Forgotten. Who am I? Oh my goodness. But I love this. I love it. The moon and the angel and this really weird, oh my goodness, that's a lot of gray. What is that? Barn gray. Yep. Gassed barn gray. Who am I? I don't know, but I love this. And then this other one, the Stitching Parlor, The Birds of Killingworth. Again, who am I? I don't know, you guys. I don't know. There's this gorgeous Bargello section down here. I think it was probably this giant bird here that sold me, but also there's bugs all over this, which is super cute. So I grabbed that. So that's all I got from the attic, and I am gonna have to tone it down. Okay. So in the conversation of trying to figure out Dark October stitching plans, I was watching Michelle Kozieg, and I think that she talked about this pattern, or somehow, somewhere, we decided that next year, one thing that we are starting is Plum Street's Jack's Bash. And so I thought that I would just go ahead and grab it real quick. It says, here in the ruffed and autumn bower, the knobby gourd and bitter flower, we merry make and sing hooray to our friend Jack on his birthday. Oh, I love this. It's so cool. And I think Olivia B started this year. Ugh, so fun. So I thought that I would just go ahead and be prepped and ready to go. Let me think. What prompted me to find... Well, this was some of the Honey, I'm Sorry I'm Going to New Orleans Without You purchases. I also got the wood smoke and the maple syrup. I bought all of this from down in Sunshine Lane. They happen to have some wood smoke, which I haven't been able to find otherwise, like in other places. So I got that. And then Dark October Stitching Plans enabled me. This is going into the potential new starts wheel. This is Plum Street Sampler's Garden of Erie. And I have almost bought this so many times, and I didn't. And then Jill Sim-Swank started this for Dark October Stitching, and I was like, whatever, my resolve is gone. So this is going into my Dark October Stitching Plans, or potential new starts. And I'm ready. I'm excited. Just so ready. Ooh, love it. Okay. This is something that I told you guys was coming. I guess I didn't get a whole lot from the Honey, I'm Sorry I Went to New Orleans Without You. Some needles, because I run through needles. I got 10 more skeins of Anchor Black. This is 32 count platinum Belfast linen from Zweigart. This is for, gosh, this feels funny. No, I guess that's right. Okay, this is for my Cottage Garden Samplings, my garden journal series, like October's Marigold, that I may start this month. And then this is what I know for certain I'm starting this month. I'm starting it a week from today, actually. No, maybe a week from yesterday. This is Hand Blessings, Large Halloween Silhouette, Scary Night 2. And it comes with all those little charms, which I don't know that I'll put on. They just seem kind of out of place to me. But that's pretty cool, huh? So this, it's funny, it almost looks a lot like Victorian's house. Anyway, this I'm starting at Stitch Fest, which is next weekend. I'm so excited for Stitch Fest. I'm also really glad that I got sick now instead of next week. That's ideal. Anyway, so I'm starting this next weekend at Stitch Fest, and I'm just so excited. And I showed you the fabric that I'm doing for that last time, the Dreamsicle by Under the Sea. Okay, this makes me just so excited. Okay. Oh, I hadn't even looked at this yet. Okay. So, the other weekend, a few weekends ago, Danny and I were headed somewhere, and he was putting gas in the car. That's right. He was putting gas in the car, and I'm on Instagram, and I happened to see Carissa's D-Stash. I'll put the username here. I happened to pull up her destash, and she's been destashing some really great stuff, like really great stuff. And like her destash is better than my stash. And so I'm scrolling through and I almost screamed. Because one of the things that I saw that she was destashing, I'm going to try not to cry here, was Black Swan's Magnolia. You guys, can you believe it? Oh, I can't even. Oh, gives me chills. I get chills just looking at it. Like, this is really here. Yeah, she was destashing this. So Vicky, reading and stitching, we can now both stitch it. You can keep yours and no need to lend it to me because I got one too. Oh my gosh. So let me just tell you guys. Where I live in Virginia, I am surrounded on all sides by Civil War battlefields. And when I say that the battlefields are a dead zone, it's a dead zone. Like, in more ways than one, I guess. But, like, cell service out here is so spotty and so sketchy. You remember when everybody was doing Pokemon Go? The battlefields were so wonderful for Pokemon Go because historic locations were where Pokestops and whatnot were. But getting cell service out here is just like, you just don't. So I'm stressed out trying to put my name down for this, and my phone was doing that spinning thinking thing for what felt like an eternity, and I was like, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna claim this before I get it, and I'm gonna miss out on my unicorn. But I got it. So excited. Now, what she was destashing was her start of it. And what she got started, this is nothing short of amazing. I have no idea what fabric this is. I don't know the count. Her stitches are insane. They are perfect. I think that it might be a 36 count or a 32. It may very well be a 32 count. But I don't know what fabric it is. It's a Zweigart base, and it's a natural color. It could be a Lakeside Linens. She had a lot of Lakeside Linens in her destash, but I don't know that for certain. And this is where she got to. Her stitches go in the same direction as mine, so I could potentially just get started from here. I could. I don't know if that's my plan. I don't know, but it started. I don't know if there are, like, her reasoning for stopping, if there's a mistake, or if, I don't know. But her stitches are beautiful. Like, they are gorgeous. So I don't know. I'll have to think about it to decide if I'm going to start over or keep going. But I have her, and I am just over the moon. I'm so excited. So excited. Okay, but I couldn't stop there because, like I said, her destash is just phenomenal. I've been able to avoid it. Like, I followed her destash account, and I've been able to avoid claiming things. But this just sort of opened the floodgates. And so the first thing that I claimed, I got 2 pieces of fabric. That's what I got. So this is a fat quarter of 32 count lakeside linens in vintage cedar plank. And this is what I wanted to order for Forever and Ever by Cottage Gardens and Flags. This is what I wanted to get. So this is definitely going to hold another of the Songbirds Garden pieces. It's just a nice neutrally gray. It's beautiful. Barely modeled, that's fine by me. I'm a big fan of the Lakeside Linens. Big fan of those. Yeah, that's pretty. And then Crinkle, she had, I've talked to you guys about the fact that my neutral stash is lacking. She had a huge piece of hand dyed by Stephanie toasted almond, and so I jumped right on that. This is 32 count Belfast, fat half of toasted almond. Yep, that's pretty perfect. So now I have for certain fabric for Jenny Bean's Halloween. I was a little bit concerned about what I was going to do if Jenny Bean came up in my new starts. I thought maybe I would just commandeer Colonial Parchment from Blackwater Hollow to do for Jenny Bean, but now I don't have to do that because I have this. So Carissa, if you're watching, thank you for your D-stash, yeah, that was wonderful. Wonderful. This is 32 count, right? Yes. Okay. So there's that. The last thing that I have here was definitely, most certainly a yes, honey, you should buy that because I'm going to New Orleans without you. So in the advance of Danny leaving, I'm feeling some type of way about his travel plans. Okay, I'll admit it, I was jealous. And so I'm on Instagram, just whatever, trying to not be jealous. So I'm on Instagram and Evertotes puts this bag up. Like the second that I pulled up Instagram, right there. And it even said like posted 14 seconds ago or something like that. So I ran, did not walk, to Evertotes Etsy and ordered this immediately. So Evertotes is the project bags from our very own Caroline of Off the Gray Needle Arts. Yep, I got the turkeys. Gobble till you wobble. And I'm sure that I have told you guys that gobble till you wobble is like a hokey thing. And the wobble is in maroon and black and orange. Y'all don't know the turkey life until you're a Hokie. Let's talk about turkeys in Virginia Tech land. Okay, first of all, one of the first experiences that you have when you go to a Virginia Tech football game is that you get a turkey leg. All year long, all season long, they have hot, fresh, roasted, rotisserie goodness turkey legs. And I'm not talking like this. I'm talking like this. It's like a two-handed job. these turkey legs. Okay, a Hokie is a turkey. He's a turkey. He's the most intimidating turkey you will ever meet. But he's a turkey. Every year at Thanksgiving, there is the presidential pardon. So there are turkeys that are raised for Thanksgiving dinner, and the president pardons the turkeys. Do you know where those turkeys go to live out the rest of their life? Virginia Tech. Y'all don't know the turkey life until you've been a Hokie. So everybody out here who's like all obsessed with turkeys, you're Hokies, like it or not. Anyway, so I saw this and I just had to have it, and I didn't even see the notions pouch that comes with it, but I'm obsessed with that too. It's this gorgeous honey mustard color, and it's so soft. It's unbelievable. And the liners match on these. It's just more of that gorgeous mustard. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm obsessed. And I know exactly what's going to go into this project bag. I bought, let me think, Gobble Till You Wobble by Sue Hillis during the StitchCon retreat. So that's going to go in here. I also have a Kathy Haberman hands-on design that's going to go in here because Kathy Haberman is also a Hokie. What else is going in here? Oh yeah, my Hokie chart. I'm so excited. I don't normally have catch-all bags, like having a project bag with just one thing in it, but this one's going to be like all of the Hokie goodness going in here. Love it. So that is that. Oh, and where'd it go? Did you fall off? You did. The bag came so beautifully packaged and wrapped in tissue paper and tied literally with a bow, and a cute little progress keeper teacup. Super cute. Yep, love that. So that's going to go on my knitting. I'm just going to put it back in here for safekeeping for now. And I will be sure to link their website, their Etsy page. It's a website that goes to Etsy, I think, but now I'm not certain. Whatever, it'll be linked. I was so excited. And even Danny was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. He cares not at all for my project bags, but this one he was down for. So, and he darn well should have been, because he went to New Orleans without me. And he's already been to New Orleans. Oh, I'm so jealous. He went to 4 states that I have never been in before. Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. I've never been to any of those states. Yeah, so anyway, I was really excited about all of this stuff. I'm really excited about all of these things. Oh, I've got to do my draw. Okay, so let's find out what I'm starting tomorrow. Dark October starts wheel. Okay, so you can see that there, kind of, sort of. And I'm going to screen capture while I do this. Okay, and then I'll insert it so that you guys can see it. So, oh, really glad that I did that. Merry Halloween. So that's the Pineberry Lane that I just got. Just showed you guys. Buried here somewhere. I'll have to jump back into my fabric stash. I'm sure that I have something that this could go on. Happily. Oh, that's the back. There we go. And I'll probably just do it in Anchor Black just because I have sufficient stash of it. I don't know that I would in a hand-dyed. So I'll be starting Merry Halloween tomorrow. And we have a lot of things going on tomorrow, but maybe I could finish it on Sunday. Maybe. I don't know. It's bigger. It's bigger than I thought. It's 105 by 117. It's pretty decent size. Anyway, there's that. I should coffee and tea dye that other piece of Cream Belfast. Am I brave enough to do that? Probably not. So yeah, I think that is everything that I have to show you here today. If you stuck with me till this point, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your continued support of me and my channel. I hope that everybody's doing okay. Go get your flu shot. Don't end up like me. Let me be your lesson. I will take one for the team. I don't mind. And I hope that everybody's enjoying their Dark October stitching. I will be here next Wednesday. Even though it's going to be a short separation, I would like to film before Stitch Fest. So that is the plan. I will be here next Wednesday. If you are going to Stitch Fest, see you guys in a week. So excited. Just a week to go. Yeah, I guess that's everything. Everybody take care. See you next time. Happy stitching. And as always, be kind. You can. Say hi, big dog. You got yuckies. Yeah. What you doing? Oh, yeah? You having a nap? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's my cuddle bug. He's just my cuddle bug. Taking care of me while I was sick. Yeah. We took lots of naps. We took lots of naps. That's not yours. There. Can you say hi? Can you say hi to the people? Huh? Can you? Are you going to take a nap there? That seems kind of silly. It does. It seems kind of silly.